As the prophet of esports, I rely on trustworthy and meaningful data every day. Data from our research partner YouGov offers the most complete view of esports fans and gamers in the world, providing context to who they are, what they think, the brands they buy, and things they do. YouGov's connected insights and research services inform strategy at every level. If you're a team, a brand, agency, or rights holder, you should be talking with YouGov. Their partners measure and maximize ROI and are telling compelling stories with data. Visit yougov.com/gaming-esports to learn more.
Which actually, maybe I'm gonna switch the order of stories here, because maybe this is a good segue into this story, which is Overwatch League likely getting a third-party operator. This is the rumor now. So, we had talked a little bit about what would happen to COD League and Overwatch League after the Microsoft acquisition of Activision Blizzard. And then we had the merger of ESL and Faceit and sale to Savvy Gaming. And it seems now that Activision Blizzard's going to farm out all their operations to run Overwatch League, to farm it out to a third party. And I'm curious, the reason why I think there's an interesting segue from the previous topic to this one is, Jeff, to your point, talent's going to, try and maximize what they get until the system breaks, right? Until they've sucked so much out that the system that they benefit from can no longer function. And I'm not saying YouTube gaming is going to fail, but similarly, this is sort of what has happened with these Activision Blizzard leagues, where cost structures get out of control for the most part, and it becomes impossible to succeed. Do either of you think that farming out operations for Overwatch League changes anything? And do you think any of this was precipitated or caused by or a consequence of the Microsoft acquisition?
Lindsay, do you want to start, or?
No, I was waiting for you, since you're the.
I can start.
You're the Activision guy.
Don't think. I doubt this is because of Microsoft. It's funny because we did speculate when the Microsoft deal happened that we would, see this occur, and we did speculate when the Savvy Gaming Group acquisition of ESL and Faceit happened that maybe it was in response to, this potentially happening. So we really did call it. But I don't know that Activision Blizzard is making changes internally yet, because that deal is not going to close for a year, and it might not even close. So I doubt they're making big strategic changes based on what Microsoft's going to want. I just don't think they're at the point in the integration where that probably is happening, 2 weeks, 10 days into it. I don't know that this is a good thing for the league. Or for the owners, let's put it that way, or for the players. And the reason why I don't think that is because it's just another hand in the pot, another slice, if you will, of a shrinking pie.
So true.
Where adding another for-profit company into this, I just don't see how that, unless they do such a good job that they're able to sell more ads, or the production value is just so much better that the product gets better and the pie grows. I just, definitionally, mathematically, cutting the pie into more slices isn't going to grow the pie for people. You're just going to get literally less of it. I would be more bullish if the owners of the league bought something like Esports Engine and brought it in-house, right? And then they own the means of production, and it was sort of all done in-house. I just don't think adding another third-party for-profit company is gonna do any good for a shrinking revenue pie.
Because the problem wasn't the product, right? Call of Duty League going to Esports Engine, to operate. The problem was not the broadcast or the commentators, or that wasn't the issue. No one was watching Overwatch League going, man, I wish this production value was a little higher. Then I tune in every week.
Yeah.
Lindsay, I don't know if you have thoughts on that.
Yeah, I was just thinking, when we called for fresh blood and fresh ideas, this isn't what I meant. So that was exactly what I thought, Paul. It's they needed some new things and some innovation in there, but do I think that they need another tournament provider? No, that's not really what I was talking about necessarily.
Wes says Overwatch operated by Esports Engine is the buzz. I mean, Wes, I'm with Jeff and Lindsay on this in the sense that, and especially to Jeff's point of like another hand in the pot is precisely what both of those leagues don't need, right? They needed fewer hands in the pot. They needed to reduce costs, and if it may be like I don't know how the economics here work, right? If Activision Blizzard just is handing all their economics to Esports Engine, and Esports Engine can run this more economically and give more back to the owner, I don't know, right? So there is a scenario where maybe this works to their benefit. I just suspect that if cost cutting was the goal of bringing an Esports Engine, they've missed the mark. If changing the product was the goal of bringing an Esports Engine, they've missed the mark. Right? Like the fundamentally the problem was always been the structure, and that structure was always going to mean failure for the owners, unfortunately. I suspect, I don't like this theory, but the tinfoil hat theory is this is Activision Blizzard finally just not wanting the stink of both of those leagues on them, right? Like if it continues to fail, well, it's their fault. That's their problem, right? We did everything we could. Don't get mad at us, owners. Go talk to Esports Engine. And if it succeeds miraculously, right? Because miracles do happen. They can still take some of the credit. It's still their leagues.
We made the right hire.
Is there a world where they do what you just said, where they say, look, we are probably never going to make like it was never structured right with us taking 50% of the profits. We don't really care. We're selling to Microsoft. Like that little piece of revenue is not that important to them. Microsoft wants community. They want a vibrant esports scene. Let's take that 50%, give 15% of it to Esports Engine and the rest to the owners, the players, and really do it right. Like if that's what's happening here, who knows if it'll work? But I think I would be way more bullish, as I'm sure you would be, than, hey, let's just bring in someone who's going to cost even more than doing it in-house and just have them do it. Like that's just insanity. I don't know.
100% agree. If that's and you articulated it perfectly, Jeff. If that's what they're doing, I'm actually quite bullish on that, because I think if you solve those structural problems like that, the owners might be able to make money, might be able to invest more, right? Like you may be able to actually build a sustainable league long term. But I mean, we don't know. We just don't know if that's the case. We hope that's the case, but don't know if that's the case. I also just fundamentally believe Esports Engine's not going to do it for a third of whatever Activision Blizzard was doing it for, right? Like that's just,
it would make no sense. Of course, the internal people are going to do it for like, it's in one hand, in one pocket, out the other. Like they're not marking it up to make a profit.
Chris says NFL viewership doesn't change based on the channel it's on. Kill it with fire already. I mean, Chris, you said exactly what I'm thinking. Doesn't look like it's going away anytime soon. So it is what it is.